All right, this is Sergeant Barth with the first day's greetings on Citadel Online to BADM 21101 and BADM 21104. I'll just do you one video for the two sections. So far, about three-quarters of BADM 21101 have actually signed in and looked over stuff in the SitLearn page, and about two-thirds of the BADM 21104. I need 100% participation because the thing that distinguishes successful online learning from unsuccessful online learning is participation. If you do the work we ask you to do, you'll pass the course. If you don't do the work we ask you to do, you will not pass the course. It's that simple. I've heard from several students asking about asynchronous. That means we all sign in together Zoom class time. We're not doing that. Most online learning is asynchronous, and you need to learn how to do it anyway because that's just the rest of the world. All our grad classes and most of our evening degree completion and most technical corporate training is done asynchronously. So it's a skill you need to learn. One of the things that I would like everybody to do is get in here and log on and then look over what's still out there and what needs to be done. If you look over here at the landing pad, Start Here page, that's where we start. And there's a video here that walked you through the instructions. I sent that out last night. I've also added a Zoom virtual meeting tool. I'll put some virtual meetings in there starting tomorrow for virtual office hours, which means that you can dial in and you can actually see me by clicking on the link. And I'll establish some specific times. We'll also have some times for some tutoring because I know a lot of y'all are going to need it. So we will have a chance to interact face to face, but not everybody has to do that. That was the big difference with a face-to-face class when the ones I sat through with your group, about half of you weren't there anyway. Those of you that can proceed along and work semi-independently should. That's the beauty of online learning, is that we're not tied to 8 to 8:50 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 8 to 9:15 a.m. on Tuesday, Thursday. You can go at your own pace. You can go faster or slower, but we'll go within the same 1 week parameters. So there's a lot of flexibility built into here. And I think once you get to know online, it's actually, I actually prefer it. I think it works better. All right, so before I start going over the stuff we need to do, I want to point out some of the stuff over here that I've already been able to change. This is the resources page. That would have been where you landed when you came into the course prior to spring break. Notice that there are only 7 assignments showing up over here, and they have a different due date now. All right, we have some technical issues with the McGraw-Hill Connect. They don't really make allowances for somebody getting hit by a car during the course of the semester. And so that's why we don't use them very much, to tell you the truth. But that's the way your instructor started this, and we'll try and get through it as best we can. I changed the due date because about half of you did the homework and got hundreds on it, and about half of you did nothing and got zeros on it. If you choose to keep on doing zeros in here, that's good because yours will be easy to grade and you're not going to pass the course. However, we don't really care much about when you learn as long as you learn. So we're going to actually give you some do-overs in here. Those of you who haven't done the work, get in there and do it. We'll adjust this as we go along, and we're also going to adjust what we cover for the last 5 weeks of the course. What we're covering this week, for those of y'all that are of the roughly 22.5% of the two sections that are passing the course, you're ahead of the game. So this ought to be an easy week for you. What I need you to do is make sure that you're up to speed with the way we're going to be doing things going forward. For the 75 to 80% of y'all that do not have a passing grade as of this point in time, you need to step it up. So we're going back and we're going to take another look at chapters 4, 5, and 6. All right. So I've added some learning materials in here. These are videos that walk you through the JPS example. I think that covers a lot of the stuff you need to know, but you also need to read the fine print in the book. So it's not all just about the being able to fill out those horizontal financial statements. We'll add more stuff as we go along, but and there'll be more assignments starting next week. But again, we're starting easy this week, and this is how these online modules will look. You'll get learning objectives up here at the top, a brief discussion of what we're going to be doing during the week. It'll list the graded assessments and the due dates. You do not have to wait until Thursday to do the quiz. In fact, it'd probably be better if you found out you didn't know how to do it now rather than wait until Thursday. You get 3 attempts. You'll get a different set of questions every attempt. So you might want to go through there and see what you don't know now before you get to the redo of exam 2, which we'll do next week, or you get to the final exam. Now, a lot of these questions are my questions. I write questions. I used to write questions professionally for all kinds of courses. So I like how I do it. And since I'm the king for the next 5 weeks, let's do it my way. You also have a discussion board to participate in. To participate in the discussion board, hit on the link. Notice it'll give you instructions. You should read the instructions before you go through, especially the instructions on what you got to do to get points in here. There is a link over on the left-hand landing pad here where you have discussion board grading rubric. Go in there and see what it says that you have to be able to do. Create a thread. You get the instructions again. Type your name in here. And then follow the instructions to give me 3 things you thought were most notable in these 2 videos. Now, the 2 videos between them are about 11 minutes. And there's also a spreadsheet that is in the that's in the module itself that has all the numbers in there. So financial statement numbers for McDonald's and Johnson & Johnson. Just watch the videos and tell me what you tell the rest of the class what you picked up is important. Now, we're only doing 1 discussion board this week, but we'll do multiple discussion boards next week when we're actually trying to learn new stuff. Discussion board takes a place of the classroom. All right. But just like y'all were supposed to be discussing crap in the classroom, you'll discuss it in the discussion boards. All right. So make sure I covered this. The assignments, you could go in there and redo the homework if you've got less than 100. If you want to go directly to the discussion board, you can click on here, and what you'll see in the discussion board, 4 students in this particular section have already posted something. So that's good. If you want to go in here and briefly, I'll show you what the quiz looks like. There are links to the quizzes down here. So when you're ready to start, it gives you the instructions. And then there's a start button down here to begin. You got 60 minutes. You'll get a different set of questions every time. I would recommend you go through there and figure out what you don't know. There's plenty of questions to go around and plenty more to use on the final exam and or exam 2. All right, for instance, the gross margin at Walmart's 25%, while the gross margin at Target's 30%. Based on the gross margin percentage, one could reasonably conclude that Target has better inventory controls. It doesn't tell you anything about inventory controls. Walmart's sales are lower than Target. It doesn't tell you anything about the level of sales. That's the beauty of using percentages of sales. Then sales are now 100%. And gross profit margin means that 25% of whatever sales were, that's what the gross profit was. Walmart is larger than Target. Well, we already know that, but you don't get that from the ratios. Target charges more for its product than Walmart. You do get that. That's what having a higher gross profit margin means, is that they charge relatively more for their product. Target reported 854, question 2, ABC reported 854,000 of sales and a gross profit percentage of 46%. Gross profit margin, gross profit percentage, goes by all those different names. Given this gross profit ratio, the margin ratio is what I frequently see on television. Given that information, what was cost of goods sold? Well, sales less cost of goods sold gives you gross profit. So if gross profit is 46% of sales, then the cost of goods sold must have been the other 54% of sales. So 0.54 times 854, whatever that comes out to. Can't do it in my head, so I'm going to skip that one. When cash discounts are applied to purchases, they're referred to as purchase discounts. When they're applied to sales, they're sales discounts. When they're applied to anything, they're not referred to as credit terms or accounts payable. All right, ABC began the year with 250,000 in inventory. They purchased $1 million. Cost of goods sold was $1.1 million. Given that, what was ending inventory? Well, you started with 250, added $1 million, and that gives you the goods available for sale, 1.25 million, and you sold 1.1 million of them. How much is left? 150,000. Blank businesses generate revenue by selling goods that they obtain from suppliers. That would be merchandising people. That's in the textbook. That's why you got to read the textbook. Which of the following types of balance sheet accounts is normally found in the liabilities section? Well, it ain't retained earnings because that's not a liability. Accounts payable is a liability. Cash is an asset. Accounts receivable is an asset. The only one that's a liability is accounts payable. All right, ABC reported cost of goods sold of $751,000. During the year, they purchased $768,000. At the end of the year, inventory was $314,000. Assuming no shrinkage, what would they have started inventory with? Beginning inventory plus purchases minus cost of goods sold gives you ending. So if I just use my algebra skills, the ending minus the purchases plus cost of goods sold would give me the value of the beginning inventory. All right. I recommend you do that with a pencil and a sheet of paper rather than try and think you do it like that. But I've just done a lot of algebra in my day. So if we started with the beginning inventory plus the net of the purchasing and the cost of goods sold, you can actually solve for this. Okay, so beginning plus purchase minus cost of goods sold gives you ending. So ending minus purchases plus cost of goods sold would be equal to the beginning. Okay, so it's just algebra, but I can't do it in my head. Save and submit. And what you'll get is, this time it took me 4 minutes to do it. Click OK to review. And oh Lord, well, I didn't get question 2 right. That's because I didn't enter an answer. Didn't get question 7 right because I didn't give an answer. All right, I got the other ones right. If I got them wrong, they'll have a big red X on them, and it won't tell you the right answer, but you can go figure it out. All right, so those of y'all that haven't logged in yet, you need to log in and look over your stuff. Those of y'all that have logged in, good on you. Go ahead and get on that discussion board, get on these quizzes. If you find that you don't know squat from chapters 4, 5, and 6, then maybe you ought to get into chapter 4, 5, and 6 and be on the lookout for those tutoring sessions that will probably be posted tomorrow or Wednesday.